Welcome to the NAHA webinar brought to you by the National Association for Holistic Aromatherapy. To learn more about NAHA, please visit www.naha.org. Tonight's presentation topic is Aromatherapy for Intestinal Health. This educational webinar is being presented by Jennifer Hochell, Pressimone. Jennifer is a holistic aromatherapist, herbalist, formulator, author, and international educator. She is the owner of GenSense Incorporated and provides both therapeutic products and wellness consultations. She is the founder of the GenSense Institute, which offers approved certified holistic aromatherapy educational programs approved by both NAHA and the National Certification Board for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork. She is a regional director for Florida and the current vice president for NAHA. To learn more about Jennifer, please visit her website at www.gensense.com. And I'd like to take a moment and welcome Jennifer tonight and thank her for being here and giving this presentation.
Thanks, Kelly. This is a topic that is so near and dear to my heart. I fell into the natural health arena almost 15 years ago because of intestinal issues. I thought I was healthy. You know, I drank a few pots of coffee a day and visited McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's on a regular basis, and I thought I was doing pretty good. I'd get salads every now and then. And it wasn't until I just got horribly sick. I had a horrible urinary tract infection. They gave me antibiotics and pain medications that I had a reaction to. So I actually had antibiotic-induced colitis and Crohn's and IBS and leaky gut. So I've been through the gamut. From the very beginning of being sick and kind of finding my way through to the things that I've learned that worked and that didn't work. And so I love being able to share my story and share what I have learned along this journey, you know, so maybe somebody else's journey is enhanced, you know, I can pay forward those lessons so maybe somebody else has, you know, they don't have to suffer as long. Sometimes you have the light bulbs that go up, oh, I didn't know these things were connected. And so that's what I feel, you know, my purpose is, and that's why I wanted to share aromatherapy for the intestinal health. Just a little disclaimer as we get started. The information that I am going to be sharing is for educational purposes only and is not intended to treat, diagnose, prescribe, cure, or replace medical advice. So I do recommend you consult your physician if you have serious health conditions. And I'm not responsible for any use or misuse of this information. There's so much information out there, and I think people take pieces and parts. So I do want to spend a little bit of time, you know, going into remedies, but also safety measures that are important to consider. So the road to good health is paved with good intestines. I learned that the hard way. You know, I thought I had good health, but that went away very quickly. You know, I suffered for many, many years going up and down the whole medical route for, you know, many, many years until I discovered some natural health things that worked. And then at that point I realized, oh, my intestines really are not in good shape, and who knew how important they are? They're in the center of our body, and they certainly do so many things that we're going to be talking about. So my personal health journey, you know, I grew up very poor, so we didn't have top-of-the-line foods. We ate many processed foods, and I think that set the foundation for a poor immune system, a poor digestive tract. You know, looking back, I can start putting the pieces together. They always say hindsight's 20/20. You know, if you only knew then what you know now. So I can look back and go, okay, you know, what am I going to do differently in my life now, and what am I going to do differently to help my family and help my friends and my clients as well, and sharing that. So I do come from a place, I've had colitis and Crohn's and IBS and leaky gut. You know, I did the medical and herbal routes. I was accidentally introduced to aromatherapy. I had a friend who was doing a tea and chat and she's like, I know you're so sick and you're new to my shop, but I just feel you really need to come tonight. I'll even make your tea for you, because she made everybody bring their own tea mug and their own tea to sit around. And she was talking about Roman chamomile essential oil. She had just learned a little bit about it, and she said, I heard that it's anti-inflammatory and anti-spasmodic, and you keep complaining that you're having so much intestinal pain. Why don't you smell it? And she was nice enough to make me up a roll-on with some apricot oil and Roman chamomile. And she's like, I don't know if it's going to work, but if you have some cramps, maybe you can try it and you can let me know. So you won't hear this very often, but only on that moment I'm like, I can't wait to go home and get cramps because I want to see if it works. And lo and behold, every night, every morning, right on time, I did start having intestinal spasms, very severe, debilitating intestinal cramps. So I had put the roll-on underneath my pillow, and I would whip it out, and I rolled it on my stomach, and oh my goodness, the cramps stopped. And I thought, this is a joke. And so then the next night, later on in the day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day after that, I kept thinking, I can't wait to get cramps. I want to see if this really works. And it worked every single time. Maybe it didn't take the cramps completely away, but it would take it from a 10 to maybe a 2 or a 3. And for those of you who have suffered with severe debilitating pain, any intestinal, you like are, folded over in fetal position, and it puts a hurt on your back, on your lungs, on your posture, on your neck, on your head. And if you could even have a break for just a couple minutes, it would make all the difference. And this is what that did for me. So it was completely life-changing. And then in that process, not that I chose to do this, but the benefit and the reward that I got is I got healthier. And so now, my goal is to be able to pay that forward. Like I said, I went round and round with the medical route. The doctor said, you are very sick, you're in kidney failure and liver failure, and they had sent me to hospice. They said, there's nothing else we can do. I was on 28 different medications for pain, for inflammation, on the prednisone, just to try to maintain, just staying alive. And that became challenging. And then I was introduced to more aromatherapy and herbal supplements that were able to help me. So, those are some things that I want to be able to share with you. So let's talk about how the body is interconnected. How does this work? Our head is connected to our gut, which is connected to everywhere else in our body. All of our systems are interconnected. They don't stand alone. One system doesn't work by itself. Somehow it's entangled with another system or other systems. They require one another for optimum function. If you think of your body like a car, the spark plugs in the car don't make the car run all by itself, but the spark plugs are one component inside of that car that interacts with other components to make it run. So each organ, has a part that it plays. For example, elimination. Elimination is a huge part of the intestinal system. It requires the stomach, the intestines, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, lungs, kidney, lymph, blood. All of these things are a part of our elimination. And so these are integrated into the body systems. So the digestive system, intestinal system, hepatic, urinary system, respiratory, circulatory, structural, nervous, glandular systems. Sometimes we hear all of these words when we're researching or when we're talking to somebody. So I wanted just to be able to elaborate so you guys have more confidence and reassurance that, okay, I do know what's going on. Nobody knows your body better than you. You are responsible for your own health. And so with education is power. You can make better decisions when you are empowered. So when you think of the body, you can't point to one system and say, hey, that's the first system, that's the second system, or this is the body. They are all interconnected. So tonight we're going to be focusing on digestive and intestinal systems. Okay, so the digestive system, is your stomach, your small intestines, the liver, the pancreas. This is where 90% of your digestion occurs, okay? We process our foods. We have nutrient uptake. The digestive and intestinal systems, they work in tandem. It's like a sewer system, you know, we reabsorb water and electrolytes, we absorb nutrients, and we have to process out the waste. So we're taking in and taking out at the same time, as long as these systems are working at its best. When there's some hiccups and there's some issues going on, then that's where problems start happening. And so then you have to play investigator to figure out, okay, what's broken? How do I fix it? So, you know, we have stomach acid in our digestive system, so this helps to neutralize toxins. You know, there's different organs that produce different enzymes to help us break down foods and absorb it and utilize it. And as we get older, our body's production of enzymes decrease. So then we have to start looking at supplementing with some type of enzymes. So the digestion starts in the mouth. Most people think it's so weird when I tell them you need to be drinking your food and eating your liquids. You eat your liquids because you chew your liquids, because every time you chew you inject enzymes via your saliva into that, so you break it down easier. The digestive and intestinal systems don't have to work as hard. And you drink your food, so you should be chewing it so much that it becomes a liquid that you're able to digest it, because digestion is already starting in the mouth. And a cool little fact, think about the only place in or on your body that does not age. One place on your body that does not age. That's the inside of your mouth. So if you put your tongue against your cheek, wow, you know, it's coated with enzymes all the time. So the power of enzymes for the outside and the inside of our body cannot be thought about enough. So when you have digestion, you know, you're starting to break down food. So, you know, your fats are broken down into fatty acids, your carbs are broken down into sugars, your proteins are broken down into amino acids. This all has to happen because we have to break stuff down. If you're not breaking it down, you're not going to absorb it. If you're not absorbing it, you're not going to have nutrient. You know, you're not going to be full of your nutrients. You're going to be nutrient deficient. You're going to have malabsorption. And then you're not going to have proper elimination. The small intestines, the key role is digestion and absorption. You know, we have to be able to take in good stuff and take out the bad stuff. The liver, you know, it's a filter. It's our first filter of getting nutrients in and getting toxins out. The intestinal system is your large intestine, your colon, and your appendix. So you've got 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Your gut is so, so important. And so you have to make sure that, okay, why am I not taking in nutrients? Why am I hungry all the time? Why is my hair falling out? Why is my skin dull? You know, why am I not feeling my best? Are you absorbing good nutrients, and or are you taking out the trash? If you eat 3 meals a day, you should be wringing out the nutrients and there should be waste coming out. You should have 3 bowel movements a day. And so if that's not happening, then that starts putrefying in the gut, and then your immune system is compromised. So for people that are sick all the time, people with allergies, you're not getting toxins out through the colon. You know, if you look at the lines of defense that your body has, you know, your body gets toxins out through the colon. If it can't get through the colon, it's coming through respiratory. If it can't get out through the respiratory, okay, so your body produces all this mucus to go after toxins. If it can't get out the respiratory, then it's going to start coming through the skin. That's your third kidney. So kidney and skin are starting to be hit a little bit harder. And so we want to really pay attention and nourish those large intestines to make sure things are moving. If you're stuck, physically you're stuck, you're constipated, then you have a lot of stuckness going on. Your emotions, your thinking patterns, you're going to be stuck. Have you ever had emotions that you just go, man, I keep thinking the same thing over and over. I can't let this go. I can't let this grudge go. You're stuck. We got to get you unstuck. So this is an area that you should be making that connection. Oh, I really need to start nourishing and loving my intestinal system. The appendix, people think, oh, you don't need that. It's an important part of the immune system. It helps guard us against infections. You know, if you don't have your appendix, you really need to start looking at doing more probiotics, but spreading them out throughout the daytime. Let the probiotics serve you, so doing small repeated amounts through the daytime. You know, same thing with your vitamins and your minerals, because this can really help with nutrient uptake. And you can do probiotics orally or rectally. So there's a lot of people, you know, that have to get support. They're not breaking everything down, so then rectally sometimes can serve that better, especially if you're in an intestinal crisis. So some of my favorite essential oils, just to start introducing a few essential oils as we're going through this talk, I like lemon. Lemon is a purifier. I have found it to really help, you know, inject those enzymes from your saliva into your food. It boosts your white blood cell count. It can boost your immune system, but it's a purifier. So if you're stuck or congested, it can open up some pathways to do that. Lemongrass can do the same thing. It's a stimulant to kind of open up some of those pathways. I like geranium because geranium is very good to help us manage some stress. It's a flower, it's pretty, it's balancing. So if we start balancing the gut flora, I have found geranium to be very helpful for that, as well as orange. And I like cinnamon because cinnamon, you know, is great. It's antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, anti-parasitic. Antifungal, so I use it a lot with candida, parasites, malabsorption, blood sugar issues. And cinnamon is like giving yourself a big hug. The emotion that's connected with the intestinal system, the whole gut, is worry. And we worry, worry, worry. We don't nourish ourselves. We don't take care of ourselves. So if you're not taking care of you, who's taking care of you? I hear a lot, well, you know, nobody does anything for me. Well, do you do anything for you? Are you taking care of you? You have to lead by example. Don't cancel on yourself. Give yourself that nice aromatherapy bath, whether you put some Roman chamomile and geranium and orange together. That's a nice bath blend to nourish your gut system. You've got to take care of yourself. So looking at the physiology, you know, the intestines are one of the largest organs in size, and it's one of the most metabolically active tissues. A lot happens. Your intestinal lining reproduces itself every 3 days. So for people that say, oh, I'm broken and I'm just going to be like that forever, no. If you give your body the right tools, it will work for you. You can start healing from the inside out. You know, healing, they say, you know, Herring's Law, you heal from the mind down. So healing starts in your head. You have to believe it. And then from the inside out, and the reverse order of symptoms that you have. So when organs and linings are compromised, then you're going to start seeing a whole host of disturbances and dysfunctions like inflammation, malabsorption, not feeling well, appearance, your skin, your hair, your nails, joint pain, a whole host of things. And your inflammation changes the intestinal permeability, which allows your toxins into the bloodstream. So if you want to keep that intestinal lining strong, then you need to look at things that are anti-inflammatory. Roman chamomile is one that I love. Yarrow is another one that I love. And then you have something called peristalsis. So this is your smooth muscular walls of the colon that contract to move waste gradually to and through the colon. So for somebody with a slow or sluggish peristalsis action, you're going to be constipated. Do you see why? If it's sluggish, you're not kind of moving things at the pace it needs to go, and it's going to just hang out and stay there. And then we have bloating, we have a whole bunch of things that go on. But if it moves too fast, then it becomes spastic. It freaks out and it becomes spastic. And then we have diarrhea. So this is some indicators of, okay, let me do an assessment. And as we're talking tonight, I want you to think about yourself. How is your connection? What relationship do you have with your intestines? Focus on you. Start connecting to your body and apply this to you so you can start helping yourself. You have to help yourself before you can help anybody else. That's the golden rule. In the microbiota, this is your gut bacteria. This is your healthy gut environment. And so it's regulated by the balance that's inside of your internal environment. Your metabolites, so you think of things like essential fatty acids that strengthen that wall of the linings to hold food in. You've got to have vitamins, so you have cellular functions and communications. You have to have amino acids for strength and functionality. And there's a lot of science, and I've included a lot of science links in here, so you can see there's science to back all of this up, not just from recent, but from past to present. And something that I thought was interesting that affects our microbiota is cesarean deliveries, not being breastfed, the environment we live in. So if you're in a very toxic environment, like a hair salon or pesticides or auto mechanics, you're around a lot of chemicals all day, you know, your age, your genetic, the number of times you've been exposed to infections, you know, both when you were in the womb and when you've been an adult, when you've been living, antibiotic use, all of these things, the stress that you have in your life, all of these things can affect your microbiota, your gut bacteria, your balance of good bacteria versus bad bacteria. You should have good bacteria because that keeps your immune system strong. And so you think, oh my gosh, like I can check half those things you just said. Okay, well, that's okay. Let's look at where you are now and what are some things you can do now to nourish and support yourself. You want to make sure you stay hydrated. And it's one thing to put water in, but if you're not absorbing the water, that's a whole different story. I have so many people that say, oh, I increased, I went to a gallon of water a day or a half a gallon a day, and all I do is spend all day in the bathroom urinating. Well, if you're not holding on, but they're still thirsty and hungry and their skin is still dry and their hair is still dry and falling out, okay, well, you're not absorbing that hydration. And so what I have found that's missing is minerals. Sometimes you have to add minerals in to your water or when you're staying hydrated to drive that hydration actually into the cell. Enzymes can help you do that and minerals can help you do that. So you can do herbal minerals, you can do things like unsulfured blackstrap molasses. There's a lot of foods that are high in minerals as well. So hydration, minerals, enzymes, the foods that you're choosing to eat. A third of your digestion occurs in the foods that you eat, so you want to choose wisely. Probiotics, I think it's something we all can use, especially in society these days. You want to manage your stress. You can do things like aromatherapy, meditation, find a hobby, do something fun. You need some system of release because if you are very stressed out, your body seizes up, your pH goes off, you're not absorbing or producing your enzymes, you're holding on to toxins and not eliminate them, and it's not serving you. We live in a stressful society. I get that. We can't live in a bubble. But some things aren't always as stressful as we perceive them to be. It's our reaction to them. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be something that happens, but it's your response to that. And the more you've coached or you've practiced being in a situation or practiced your responses, the more confident you are because you've developed skills to now conquer challenges. So when I'm approached with some challenges, I don't freak out all the time. I kind of do an assessment. All right, it's the worst thing that's going to happen. What's going on? What's my stress level? Let me go find some stress management tools. I love my citrus oils. I love my floral and my spicy oils. That just does it for me. If I have to think clearly, then I want to go to my camphracous and herbaceous oils. So I'm finding something that says, okay, let me grab my toolbox, my stress management toolbox. You have to find the tools that are going to work for you and serve you in doing that. For some people, it's movement, and we should be moving anyway, exercising, movement. You know, your lymph system doesn't have a pump like the heart, so the things that keep your lymphatic system moving and keep it from being stuck and congested, running, jumping, massage, yawning, some type of movement. You have to manually move your lymph. One of the most important things, that's why when people are sedentary and sitting on a couch and not moving, they have more stuckness, they have more edema going on. And all of these things can help you with your weight management. A lot of people with intestinal issues, some are overweight and some are underweight. So we talk about management. How do we get our weight where it needs to be? One of the missing links is a lot of people, they'll go on a diet, whether they're eating a whole bunch of calories to gain weight or minimizing their calories to lose weight, but they only do it for a short period of time, like a new toy. And then they go on this yo-yo. They gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. If you give your body enough time, in my opinion, it needs to be 3 to 6 months. If you maintain your program for 3 to 6 months, your body, your physiology will actually reset itself. Your metabolic thermostat, the thermogenesis in the body, if you do it long enough, it creates a habit, and then your body recognizes that, and then it's like, oh, this is the new norm. If this is the new norm, I'm going to reset my thermostat, so this is the weight I'm going to maintain. You know, if you're 150 pounds and you only do a few things, your body thinks it should be 150 pounds. That's why you keep going back there. But if you shift it long enough and create a habit, it will shift with you. Collagen is one thing that can help with the thermogenesis. And as you're dumping toxins, if you are losing weight, you are going to dump more toxins. So you are going to be more acidic. So balancing out that with some alkaline stuff, lemon and lime are great alkalizers. So even just by smelling them, the power of smell, your sense of smell is the only sense. It does not go through your spinal cord or digestive tract. It's instant. Hits your brain to make an assessment, sends it down the vagus nerve to the gut, the second brain, to take action. Instant. The oils that I like in this case would be culinary oils. So your spices, your cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, parsley I like, lemon. These are just some tools for you to put in your toolbox to think about, okay, what's going to be right for me? So the importance of your gut health. There's a lot of science. PubMed.com is a great source to get a lot of research, but there's some other things out there too. There's some misinformation, so you do have to research things several different places to make sure that the same story is being reported, because you know there's some science that is out there, but they didn't test the right species, or it was an adulterated species, it wasn't an authentic species, so you do have to be a little careful. But I learned from Hugo Rodier, oh my goodness, probably 14 years ago, that the root of all disease is linked to inflammation in the gut. And there's a lot of science out there to prove that. So it shows you have to work on the root cause. Don't just list all your symptoms. Let's track those symptoms back to the root. Because most people think they have a million things going on, but when you organize it, 500 of those things might belong to one category, one body system. And then you find out, oh, I only got like 2 body systems out of balance. Let me work on that. I would much rather work on 2 things than 100 or 1,000. And so working on the root cause is going to help you achieve that harmonious wellness. You're going to become more balanced and in harmony with yourself, and then you're going to have better functioning, the interconnected functioning between your body systems. So any inflammation in the gut is going to cause systemic inflammation. It spreads like wildfire. You know, so I do like to look at food. I don't necessarily like the word diet because it kind of has a negative connotation to that, but your food choices. I like doing some anti-inflammatory foods. I like following the blood type diet and the pH diet. I like combining those three when I'm working on gut health. I maintain my health pretty well, but when I get stressed or I don't eat as well as I should, I kind of fall back, and then my intestines are real quick to tell me, we don't like that. We're not happy. Have a little bit of pain. Have some inflammation. I'm going to put you in bed today. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I get you. I'm going to go back and be good. And it doesn't mean I'm a purist. I have cheat days. I'm not perfect. But I choose what I cheat with, and I only cheat for maybe 1 to 2 days a week. And I know how to manage that. On those days, I'm increasing my probiotics, my enzymes, my minerals, my essential fatty acids. So if you're going to cheat, learn how to cheat, I guess. But there's things that can help. There's anti-inflammatory supplements, you know, boswellia, your curcumin, nonis, things like that that can be beneficial. So you have a lot of dietary food cookbooks to help you with this. Samuel Thompson is an American herbalist, and I've studied a lot with Stephen Horn, who does a lot with the disease tree model that shows, you know, the root of all disease, you know, it's the underlying cause. Things will manifest if your roots are unhealthy. So let's go back to the roots and figure out what's not right. There's another book that I like by Dr. Jeffrey Bland. He did a book, I think it's called The Disease Delusion. You know, he's kind of coined as the father of functional medicine. He's come up with a personalized system approach. And we're working on the cardiometabolic syndrome. We're working on the metabolics of the body. Metabolics, how are we working and why? How is this all going together? Where is there a hiccup? And how does that affect the microbiome? You've got to look at the gut, the immune system, your detoxification, insulin, stress, breaking down fats, liver function, skeletal function, hair, skin, nails, bones, muscles. All of this goes back to the gut. And there's another book that I recently came across, Keith Scott Mumby. He did The Secrets of an Alternative Doctor, talked about the gut has all of the neurotransmitters of the upper brain. And if you think about it, 90% of our serotonin is in the gut. That's our happy juice. It's got to make its way to the brain. You know, we have the vagus nerve that connects the brain to the gut. It's also, you know, known as the 10th cranial nerve. So you have your brain that communicates via the nervous system, the central nervous system. The gut communicates via the enteric nervous system. And if you remember, this separation between the central nervous system and the enteric nervous system occurred in fetal development. When we were being created and growing, we had this separation. So it's still connected. We still have this nervous system that allows us to assess information coming in, to connect with it, and then to take action. Your head, heart, your gut. This is what gets in alignment. You know, you've got the pathways in your gut-brain signaling, your vagus nerve and your spinal cord. These are the two pathways in which we have communication that's going on. Dr. Michael Gershon, he did the book The Second Brain. So, you know, a long time ago you would say, oh, we have a second brain now called the gut. Well, then it was like, well, the gut is the first brain. Well, now they're saying the gut is kind of the first brain and the head brain is the second brain, because the gut, they're finding, actually does more than the brain in our head. He linked the phenomenon butterflies in my stomach. You know, if you ever get in a situation where you worry, you're uncomfortable, or maybe, you know, you're in love and you get those butterflies in your stomach, that sensation is real. There's science to show that now. It just shows you the power of these connections between our head and our gut. How does that apply to aromatherapy? Remember, when we're smelling a scent, it goes in through the nose, it hits the brain, goes down and it creates action within the body. Action in the form of a behavior, a response, or a reaction. So the gut-brain connection is just so powerful. The intestinal system's role, whenever we're looking at the mind, body, soul, head, heart, gut, however you connect those, they're so interconnected. You look at the physical, you know, it plays a role in elimination. We have digestion, absorption, utilization, elimination. You know, it involves the digestive and the intestinal system. The intestines are the dumping ground for the lymph. So when the lymph is trying to dump stuff out, it puts it in the intestines. Then we have to break that down. We have to have all the right enzymes as long as everything's working so we can either urinate it out or have a bowel movement. We're taking out the trash. And if you have too much toxins going on, your body's going to start producing these mast cells, this mucus, to go and engulf these toxins. On a mental level, you have your cognitive functions: focus, concentration, memory. It's your gut-brain clarity. Are you happy or sad? Do you have courage or you worry all the time? Are you focused or are you confused? Can you solve problems pretty easily, or are you just wishy-washy, indecisive? Can you remember? The emotional side of this is you're just not absorbing or digesting a situation. You have trouble understanding and processing. You're angry, sad, worry, you feel defeated, you're depressed, you have anxiety. Poor me, nobody loves me. I do everything for everybody else, but nobody's there for me. This is intestinal. And if you think about your circadian rhythm, that's your 24-hour clock. Your body does maintenance on different organs every 2 hours. You know, it does maintenance all night long, so you should be in bed, asleep, deep sleep by 11, which means you should be in bed like by 10:30 in a perfect world, because you're going in because your second adrenaline kicks in, so your body can start doing detoxification maintenance all night long. Starts with the gallbladder, then it goes to the liver, then it goes to the lungs. So 5 a.m. we have large intestine, our colon. We should be waking up having a good bowel movement. We're taking out the trash. If that's not happening, then maybe you want to make up a massage oil for your gut. You massage it around your gut. Your colon empties out on the left. So if you take your hand and you put it, you know, where your rib cage is, and you go all the way down towards your groin, that's where your colon empties. So if you're going to do a massage therapists already know this, you know, you start on the left or on the right-hand side, you come up towards your rib cage, over, and then you go down on the left side because your colon empties on that left side. And so some oils that I like to put in a blend for constipation or sluggish, or you need help eliminating, you need help letting go. If you're holding on to something and you're not letting go, one of my favorite oils for that is patchouli. The theme song to patchouli is that song, Let It Go, that Frozen movie. I mean, I know we've all heard it. That goes with patchouli. But also you have oils like black pepper, cilantro, and cilantro is also good if you have heavy metal toxicity. Chamomiles, I like Roman and German chamomile, rosemary. Your mint, so peppermint or spearmint, turmeric. You can mix any of these in any combination in a massage oil or lotion and massage that around your belly. That can help with the elimination. 5 to 7, large intestine. 7 to 9, your stomach is now up for maintenance. You know, we're having breakfast usually around this time. It sets the tone for the day. If you don't nourish yourself in the morning, you're not going to be nourished all day long. Your body just did a marathon all night long detoxifying. Cleaning up, getting ready for a great day. You want to feed it. You want to reward it and have some good food. So your organ of digestion, absorption, assimilation. If you have a lot of mental chatter, malabsorption issues, you have a hard time digesting a situation, this is related to the stomach. You wake up with all these thoughts, you go to bed with all these thoughts, you can't shut them off, and you wake up, My favorite oil in that situation is Roman chamomile for the mental chatter. But also black pepper is another oil that would be beneficial here. So you can see that's a good oil. And we also put pepper in our food. There's a reason it was put into culinary foods. You know, we used to eat to live, not live to eat. We have to go back to that mentality. But lemon, fennel, oregano, marjoram, peppermint, these are also some great ones for the stomach. And then your body does maintenance on the small intestines around 1 p.m. So your pH, your absorption of nutrients, you know, clove, ginger, patchouli, black pepper. You can see a theme with some of that. So some common intestinal system imbalances. You may have gas, bloating, indigestion, acid reflux, or silent reflux. Silent reflux sometimes you think is respiratory, you're choking, you have a bad cough, your stomach hurts, you're not digesting things very well. I like to do some spices like cardamom and nutmeg and ginger in that case. A lot of belching, cramping, abdominal pain, IBS, Crohn's colitis, diverticulitis. Parasites fall in here, so some of my anti-parasitic oils, essential oils that I like, patchouli, clove, cinnamon. Allergies. Allergies go back to the gut. Frankincense is my #1 oil for allergies. And I like to do a combination with some frankincense and a little bit of eucalyptus and lavender to kind of round that out. And I use that for food allergies, pet allergies, environmental allergies. But it is nice just to diffuse and to smell. You can also put it in a spray, an atomizer spray, to help. Malabsorption, there's actually a few different types of malabsorption. You know, it comes from a lack of enzymes. It can come from, you know, genetics or surgery, which has kind of altered some stuff. You know, not having good nutrient transport. There's a lot of different reasons that can contribute to malabsorption. But I have found doing some good fats and fat emulsifiers like lecithin. I like to do a lecithin that's sunflower based. That helps to heal that lining of the gut so you can hold on to nutrients. Your intestinal lining, you need that to be like a slip and slide. You've got to have good fats, but a lot of people that are malnourished or have no gallbladder, you have a hard time breaking down fat. So you have to add in a fat emulsifier with it to help. And you can even do that in your topical aromatherapy blend. So adding in, you know, some lecithin oil, doing, you know, your olive oil or coconut oil, argan oil, avocado oils. You can get your essential fatty acids through the carrier. So I always like to put my essential oils with the carrier because you're getting that extra benefit that's really now nourishing your body. You're going to have elimination problems if your system is imbalanced. So constipation or diarrhea, or do you alternate? Do you have bad odor? Your lymphatic and circulatory systems are going to be congested. You're going to have a lot of toxic buildup. And if you have that, then you're going to have bowel irregularity. And if your bowels stay regular, that protects your DNA, keeps you strong. If you have an irregularity, you're really affecting your genetic makeup. You're affecting how your body is going to respond to incoming stimuli. Something that can balance the bowel regularity, ginger, rosemary, turmeric, these are very powerful anti-inflammatories. You can already start seeing a theme of inflammation. So let me find some essential oils that are anti-inflammatory. And then in the picture, you can see somebody kind of folded over. Well, if you're in that position all day long, look at what it's going to your body. It affects your brain, your head, your neck, your shoulders, your back, your hips, your knees, your lungs. Everywhere is now affected. You're going to have some mental sluggishness, poor concentration, focus, trouble making decisions, trouble making, you know, problem solving, learning ability. Can you learn something new with ease, or is it just so hard for you? Do you feel fatigued all the time, tired, headache, easily distracted, Noise bothers you, voices bother you. If you're easily distracted, that's usually a B vitamin deficiency. You have a lot of mental chatter, racing thoughts. Post-traumatic stress. People with post-traumatic stress have a very imbalanced intestinal system. We really need to be working on getting the gut healthy to give people with post-traumatic stress some ammunition to stay strong, to fight this, to overcome the trauma that they were exposed to. When you've been exposed to a trauma, it's hard to forget it. And it can bring you down in a heartbeat. So your body physically, mentally, and emotionally needs to be at its strongest point so you can overcome that. You know, for somebody with post-traumatic stress, they've been in fight or flight for so long, and it just activates this, you know, corticotropin releasing factor. So it releases this stimuli that your body is just in this heightened state all the time. And when it's in this heightened state, you're like kind of spastic. And then your muscle contractions are spastic. So you have a spastic colon. And then sometimes you go depressed and sluggish and it seizes up, and then you go constipated. So now you have this rotation up and down, up and down. So we really need to focus on the gut health with people with post-traumatic stress. So the same thing with Alzheimer's, with dementia. Lots of research out there. You're seeing Alzheimer's now labeled as type 3 diabetes. It's an insulin issue. It's an inflammation issue. I love lavender, rosemary, and lemon in a combination to work with dementia, to kind of keep them in the moment a little bit longer, to keep them from having such viper remarks, to keep them calm a little bit more. And emotionally, people may worry more. They may have self-worth issues, self-esteem. They feel like a victim. They feel beaten down. They don't feel nurtured. They feel alienated. They feel depressed. And there's several different links here that shows you there's a strong link between depression and leaky gut, between anxiety and memory and irritable bowel, between anxiety and colitis, stress in the intestines. Lots of science. And one of my favorite books that helps understand this gut-brain connection with an emotional connection is The Molecules of Emotion by Candace Pert. And that really gives you some insight on the power that your emotions can cause on the physical body, but that the physical imbalances and stresses cause on the emotional. And sometimes they feed each other. You don't know which one is causing which one. Well, you got to work on both. You can't work on just one area. You have to work on both of them simultaneously. And that's what I love about the essential oils, is that they can help you do that. They can work physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, environmentally, simultaneously, at the same time, multiple different issues all at once, just by smelling one oil. And there's so much history to this effect. A lot of our history talks about the botanicals. And then we see the process of distillation, where there's more use of essential oils for therapeutic reasons, medicinal reasons. And now we're seeing the aromatherapy industry evolve even more with a ton more science, research studies being published showing these true connections. And again, there's a lot of misinformation out there, but there is a lot of good information as well. There's safety that you need to consider when you're using aromatherapy, especially when you're working on the intestinal tract, because your body is not going to be able to absorb or utilize too much, something too strong. I don't do a lot of internal oils personally, nor do I teach that, because you really need to know what you're doing. You need to understand your anatomy and physiology. You need to understand the contraindications. You know, your kidneys have to filter that out. When you're ingesting them, your body, your digestive tract and intestines have to process that. Your liver has to process that. With somebody with irritable bowel and Crohn's and colitis, the gut is so much in turmoil, you can't stimulate that too much, or you can put yourself in a crisis mode. So you just want to be mindful. Do you know your body? Your body. What is your kidney function? What is your liver function? What is your intestinal function? What's the rate of your peristalsis? Do you know yourself well enough? And then you're going to match the remedy. I do a lot through inhalation, so I love doing diffusing the oils. I love doing the room sprays, the body sprays, because I'm able to smell all of the different oils whenever you diffuse it or put it in an atomizer. You're getting all of the different layers, all of the different notes, and you're able to connect with them. And your body's able to go, oh, come on in, and it's able to connect and invite them in and absorb them and put them where they need to go at the rate your body needs to absorb it. Sometimes it's going to take it in quick, and sometimes it's going to take it in slow. I love doing massage lotions and oils. Again, the benefit of adding it into a fat-based carrier, you're getting twofold. You're putting that good essential fatty acids in, so now you're absorbing, and it's an external ingestion. Whenever you put something on your skin, your body is ingesting it. It is absorbing it into the body, into the bloodstream. And so sometimes that's all that you need. The quality of what you're doing is really important as well. David Crow did an excellent job on talking about sustainability, the quality of oils, what's out there. Excellent. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to that one, I think that's in the NAHA bookstore. But I learned so much from him on the webinar that he did just a couple months ago. But quality, you want to know what you're doing. You want to know that it is a pure oil, because there's so much transgenic oils, genetically modified, adulterated oil, essential oils that are out there. So when we're talking therapy, it needs to be pure. Adulterated is not going to give you that same benefit. When you look at the limbic system, you're talking about the benefits that you're getting. Are you getting that instant response that's eliciting the behavior that you need? Are you able to respond to a situation a little less stressed with more clarity? That's what we're looking for. And then looking at activating your body, activating your mind. Do you need to build? Do you need to cleanse a little bit more? Do you need to specifically target one area? So you look at rosemary, I like for circulation. Cinnamon, I like for blood sugar. Chamomile, I like for antispasmodic, cramping type of things. So when you focus on these areas, then you learn which remedy you need for a certain situation. And when I'm talking about essential oils, are they influencing you? Are they affecting you? Modifying, shifting, harmonizing your mood, your behavior, your responses on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and nutritional level. When I look at essential oils, I think they're all like little people. They all have their own personality. You know, peppermint's really vibrant. You can smell when it comes out. It's like, whoa, it's here. Chamomile is a little bit more subtle. It's more quiet. Ylang ylang is this beautiful flower, and it's kind of powerful once you get to know it. So you start learning the different personalities of your oils by smelling them, by reading about them. And then when you know that, then you can start putting your team together. So when you're creating a blend for a particular issue, such as intestinal health, if I'm making me an IBS blend, what team of oils can I put together to accomplish my goal? What is my goal? Anti-inflammatory, antispasmodic, analgesic. I want to relieve the pain. I like Roman chamomile. I like marjoram. Those are some great ones. I like orange. It's got good vitamin C. So those are the things that I think about when I'm putting my teams together. You know, where do your oils come from? Different parts of the plants, the trees, and that can give you insight on their personality. Flowers are going to be very beautiful and they're a little bit more free. Your woods are a little bit more hardy with more staying power as your bark and your resins, versus flowers that are just, you know, they're your top notes. They're gonna come up, you're gonna smell them, and they're gonna dissipate quicker than your base notes, than your woods and your resins. So when you're putting your team together, these are some things you want to keep in mind to accomplish the benefits that you're looking for. So what we want is, we want more oxygen in the body. When you have oxygen, bad things can't thrive. You want to absorb your nutrients and hydration. You want to spark movement. You know, we need heat and energy in our body to keep things going so we can eliminate better. And when we get stressed, our cells start dying and dehydrating, and they build this really thick protein wall around it. You know, our cells should be living 120 days. So when it gets really stressed or starts oxidizing, then it starts closing up, it starts dying, it builds this hard protein shell around it, and then it suffocates and it doesn't work for you anymore. What if that happens at day 60? It's not that you go, oh, I just felt the one cell die and that affected me. No, but what if you felt a community of cells that was not doing its job? Then you're going to start noticing weaker immune system, weaker digestion, weaker elimination. So the two things that I have found that help resuscitate a dying cell and help your cells, cellular function, cellular metabolism, cellular respiration, we want our cells to work to the best of its ability. Two things that can do that: enzymes. So I use a lot of liquid enzymes in my sprays. I take enzymes, but also essential oils. Just by smelling them, that's the power that it has. So I want to share with you a few of my favorite essential oils for the intestinal system. Roman chamomile, and you've got a few different botanical names when you're researching. You have to pay attention to botanical names so you know what you're getting. But in nature, chamomile in general is known as the plant's physician. It has caretaking abilities. They say if you have plants that are dying and you plant chamomile next to it, it'll help revive it. It's a caretaker. So for people that are caretakers, or you're in a debilitated state and you need to be taken care of and you feel guilty about that, chamomile is one you need to consider to be on your team. It's antibacterial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, analgesic. Antipruritic means anti-itch. I love it for itch, fungal itches, mosquito bite itches, eczema, psoriasis. It's a carminative, so it's going to help with gas. It's a febrifuge, so it's fever reducing. A nervine to nourish our nerves, a sedative to calm us down, and a vulnerary means wound healing. So I use it with people or myself for constipation, digestion, diverticulitis, a hiatal hernia, intestinal spasms, my number one that I loved. It was just amazing how quickly it worked on IBS cramps. But I also like it for motion sickness, vertigo, movement issues, ulcers. On a mental level, for antsy, being very antsy, you got ants in your pants, anxiety, people that need to communicate, have the strength and the courage to communicate, concentration, insomnia, if you feel overstimulated, for those perfectionists, you're nitpicky perfectionist, you think about chamomile. Awesome for that. Anger, fear. We know we hold fear in the kidneys, so this is also a urinary essential oil. Grief, guilt, feeling lonely. People with tempers, hot tempers, short tempers, road rage. I think we can cure all road rage on all interstates with spritzes of chamomile. But also if you're oversensitive, you need to have more patience and you need to connect more on a spiritual level for yourself. And then you have some science links that it's antidiarrheal and antispasmodic. Peppermint. So your mentha piperita. It's your symbol of hospitality. You know, whenever we go out to eat, you have the little mints at the end, not only to freshen the breath. Mint was used a long time ago in culinary dishes for digestion, for gas, bloating, to help us break down. It actually helps produce enzymes. It helps you absorb the nutrients, to utilize the nutrients, and to work on elimination, proper elimination. So it works from the beginning to the end of the whole intestinal system. Indigestion, nausea, gum health. I like it for hot flashes. So now we can see the interaction with the glandular system. Our liver is our organ of heat. Heat rises. We have hot flashes. We have headaches. Peppermint is a good remedy for that. Muscle fatigue. Whenever you have cramps or you've had chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, IBS for so long, you get fatigued because you can't move as much. And so peppermint, especially mixing it, I like to mix peppermint with some pink grapefruit and some bath salts and soak in that. Very good for that fatigue. Also good for sinuses too. You know, opening things up, opening our lymphatic system. Mentally, it can help with alertness, focus. It can help you articulate. It can give you the courage to speak up for yourself. Being creative. It helps combat depression, post-traumatic stress. It's opening. It's camphrasious. It's a friend. It's like, come on, open up. Somebody who's very closed or cold and just needs to be opened up can help you take in new ideas. If you have a lot of self-doubt, a lot of tension, a lot of stress, tension. And then emotionally, fear of public speaking, it's an anger remedy, frustration, irritability, so heat. It's going to calm the heated issues. It can ignite your inner passion. What are you passionate about? Are you lost? Do you need a little bit of fun to open you up and help you connect? Do you need to face some confrontations? Do you need to be a little bit more spontaneous? Do you need to invigorate your spirit? This is peppermint. Fennel. So the Romans used it in their culinary dishes for digestion. You know, it has a little bit of a licorice taste to it, but it's such a powerful stomachic, so helping with stomach issues, but also it's a vermifuge, so it's going to help with worms, parasites. And remember, people used to eat to live, not live to eat. And that's why fennel is really nice. It doesn't only taste good in our food. So if you're growing your fennel and you put some in your food, it makes it taste good, but you're getting a benefit. Anti-inflammatory, diuretic, expectorant. This is also a galactagogue, so it's going to help increase breast milk, even just smelling it. And one thing I do want to go back and talk about peppermint. Peppermint is anti-galactagogue. So for somebody breastfeeding, it can help dry up breast milk, so you want to be careful with peppermint. But fennel is a galactagogue, so it can help enhance breast milk. And sometimes babies, you just need to produce more milk, and sometimes you need more nutrients in the milk, so you want to look at some minerals to help with that. But fennel, I like for colicky babies, if there's cramps and spasms, upset tummy, bloating, you ate too much, you're not digesting your food. I was just at a seminar teaching with a doctor, and she calls it the cortisol baby. You know, you're not breaking stuff down, you're stressed, and now you're bloated. So it helps with that edema, indigestion, also for nausea. It can enhance your detoxification and elimination because it supports your kidneys, your liver, your lymph. If things are stuck, it's going to get it moving. Mentally, it's great for anxiety, sluggish cognition, insomnia, mental endurance. It's going to help you release some creative blocks. Emotionally, it can boost your confidence, it can give you courage, it can make you more resilient and strong through tough situations, especially when you have snake-like people attacking you. If you've ever been around somebody, you're like, man, they're just a snake, they keep coming after me. Fennel. Fennel is good to protect yourself. Contraindication is epilepsy. You just want to be careful. I have seen some science that say it's fine, and I've seen some science that say you want to be careful. I always err on the side of caution, and so it's one you just want to be careful of for epilepsy and during pregnancy. Black pepper I had mentioned for digestion and intestines. So it doesn't just give it flavor, but it stimulates digestion. So for somebody with sluggish digestion, you're not breaking things down at a fast enough pace to absorb the nutrients, you want to think of black pepper. So people that bruise easy, we know that there might be some iron deficiency, but also a malabsorption issue. That's where black pepper can stimulate that. So for somebody with malabsorption, you want to think of black pepper. Also constipation, people with muscle and joint pain, I use it for nerve pains, neuropathies. Mentally, to clear sluggish thinking, to help focus and concentrate, especially when people are hesitant. It can enhance the gut-brain connection, works on mental fatigue, can be a good motivator. So for somebody who just needs some motivation, black pepper. Emotionally, it can help you work on bitterness. It can give you the emotional endurance, especially when managing some tough challenges, like when you feel emotionally stuck, when you're frustrated because things aren't moving, you're not moving forward, you're untrusting. And if you use this topically, it can be a skin irritant, so I do like to put this one in a carrier. Your ginger. Ginger, I think, is so popular for digestion and intestines, but the power of ginger, anti-inflammatory, anti-parasitic, anti-spasmodic, it's going to help with bowel movement, so your purgative, it's helping move the bowels. It's a stomachic, but it also can be tonifying to your intestinal tract, to your GI tract. Physically with gas and bloating and digestion. I do it for pain, so fibromyalgia pain, IBS pain, arthritic pains, sciatica. Mentally, I use it to sharpen the senses, to kind of give you some willpower. You know, I got this, I'm going to beat it, I'm going to accomplish this goal. We need the willpower to do something, ginger. And emotionally, if you feel like you're lost, you need some spice to give you a good kick. You feel lonely, you feel loss of control, like you're going to lose control, especially after a loss. When we're grieving either the grief of a person or a job or a status, of your personality, of your individuality, your identity, ginger is great because it warms the heart. It helps with brokenheartedness. Cinnamon, it's like giving yourself a big hug. You know, I use it for blood sugar, insulin issues, silent reflux, digestive issues. It's a powerful antiviral. So using that antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, anti-infectious. So diffusing that can boost your immune system, but also enhance the way that you can absorb food, get the nutrients, and take out the trash. One of my favorite oils for anxiety, depression, sleepiness, mental fatigue, mood swings, panic attacks. For somebody in bereavement, somebody grieving, they need emotional strength. They're emotionally cold. They need to warm their heart. They need to put a smile on their face. Smile. That's cinnamon. And it can be blood thinning, so you want to be careful with people on blood thinners. And for somebody with really high blood pressure, you just want to be a little mindful with that. And there is some science to show that it has some memory enhancing benefits when used with dementia. Cardamom. I never used a ton of cardamom, but I did suffer with some silent reflux a few years ago. And one of my mentors had introduced me to cardamom, and oh my gosh, I love this oil. I love it. Chinese use it a lot for stomach and digestive issues. But anti-inflammatory, anti-spasmodic, a carminative, an expectorant, a nutritive. It's going to help nourish. Nourish our bodies, nourish our minds, nourish our heart. So acid or silent reflux, having the cough that comes with intestinal stuff, liver gallbladder issues, tooth and gum issues, which we know is a circulatory, poor circulation, heart's not circulating to its best of its ability, anxiety, nervous exhaustion, overthinkers, people who overthink too much, people that are weepy, you know, mood swings, very weepy, then we want to think of cardamom. Lemon, I like as a purifier. And on an emotional level, I use it a lot. It's like a flashlight. It's a flashlight to help you light the way that, you know, I'm lost or I need some energy, I need to be creative, I need to think better, I need to stimulate and challenge my intellect, I need to instill some more wisdom, I need to overcome my doubt. This is going to be lemon. Powerful decongestant for the cells, for the lymph, for the blood. It's a pH balancer, helps with white blood cell activity, so to keep you strong. It's going to help you become optimistic, especially whenever you feel overwhelmed by your responsibilities. And I do use this with people who overeat on an emotional level because, you know, fear of trust, security, self-worth, self-esteem issues. So it's just a fun oil, and it's yellow. You know, yellow lights the way for us. Patchouli. I had mentioned early that the theme song for this oil for me is Let It Go. When you're holding on to something, you're stuck, you're congested, you're a swamp, very swampy yeast, candida, fungus, mold, then you want to think patchouli. Using it in a bath salt, soaking in a bath salt, but also mixing it in a massage oil, maybe with some grapefruit, doing a little bit of black pepper, maybe some rosemary, some cypress oil, putting it in an oil and massaging it, whether it's on your thighs to release some cellulite, to edema in your ankles, on your stomach for constipation, on your chest because you're having trouble letting go of grief, on your kidneys because you need to let go of fear. So this oil is so powerful for that, helping you connect with your faith. You're lost. You just really need to be connect. Let things go, move forward in a positive thinking direction. You need to refuel your mind and your body. So for people that are stuck, I think patchouli. Oregano. You know, oregano is a little spicy. It's heating, so you have to be careful. It can cause some skin irritations, but powerful anti-parasitic, antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, anti-infectious. It's an expectorant, it's a stimulant. So I use this a lot when I'm really boosting the immune system. I'm fighting some illnesses, I feel sick, liver's not able to detoxify. I need to kick some stuff in gear and add some heat to the body. This is a very heating oil. So for somebody too hot, you would not want to use oregano. Frankincense and ylang-ylang can calm the heat, like if you combine it with some lemon and some peppermint, that can help calm the heat. But if you have to add some heat, like with people with low blood pressure, lymphatic stagnation, intestinal upset, you need to increase your bile production. Your bile, you know, turns your fat into water soluble so you can flush them out. So for mental, being confused, self-doubt, people with violent behaviors, oregano can really help with that. People with a wounded heart on either side. Marjoram. Marjoram I use a lot for pain. So I use it a lot for IBS pain, Crohn's, colitis. If you need to increase the intestinal peristalsis, you need to stimulate circulation. But I do it sometimes for the pain. If I need to get a good night's sleep, if I need to work on grief and anger, thyme. So you can see there's a lot of herbaceous oils that are beneficial, but thyme is another one very similar to oregano in the way that it's antibacterial, antiviral, anti-infectious. but I use thyme when there's something going on, whenever you have that gurgling sound in your stomach, like you're eating and it makes these funny sounds all the time, and I even, diffuse the scent, not only for me, but when that happens with my pets. I'm using a lot of these same remedies for my pets as well. So I do find it to give you some protection for the gastrointestinal tract. So we've talked about some oils. So how do you use them? You want a carrier, you want to put it in a base so you can use them. So I've given you some ideas of putting it in a carrier oil, your coconut, arnica oil, rosehip oil. You can mix it up if you're making a spray. You can use some distilled water or some liquid enzymes, you can do Epsom salt or sea salt, your aloe vera gel. Put it in your diffuser, diffuse it out, sprinkle it on some pine cones and let that be your diffuser for your house. These are some simple ways that you can put these into action to give you the relief that you need for the intestinal system. So diffusing it, you've got a few different choices of diffusers. Your ultrasonic diffusers, my favorite. You've got your aroma ball that you can plug in, your car diffuser. There's all kinds of necklace diffusers. You can use a bottle to make a spray or a lotion or a massage oil. Your jars are going to be for your salts and your salves. I use the roll-ons for my perfume and pulse points. So like for my headaches, I use the roll-ons for my intestinal roll-on because it's quick. And then I do like to do the dry brushing because you can slough off. Your skin is your largest eliminative organ and you're getting toxins out. And so if you need to slough off the toxins that are coming out in the dead skin cells, the dry brushing can be very beneficial, especially when you're fighting your intestinal issues. So in your notes you have some recipes. I give you a recipe for the intestinal soother, for a spastic colon, to give you some digestive fire. So that's for like the silent reflux, constant hunger for people with malabsorption issues, for the constant worriers, people that worry all of the time. I've given you some ideas for herbal remedies. These are the top things that I love to do. Enzymes, probiotics, minerals, your good fats, your fiber. And then to manage your stress, looking at some adaptogens. And your essential oils are adaptogens. Finding some things that are anti-inflammatory, things that are soothing to you, help you to absorb toxins. I like activated charcoal. And I do put that in my bath salts even with my essential oils to soak when there's a lot going on intestinally. You can do that for people with hemorrhoids. A lot of people with intestinal issues, especially with the spastic colon, end up with hemorrhoids. So this is a way to help with the toxins. So we talked about a lot of different things. How do you create a healthy habit? What does your healthy habits look like? Well, you need to live. You need to have fun. But you need to get some good sleep. I would look at your circadian rhythm. I would manage your stress. I would get moving, exercise. I would choose carefully what foods you want to put into your body. You want to laugh. Have some fun. Find a hobby. Do your belly laugh, find a really funny show. There's videos on YouTube now. We're a society of YouTube that'll just make you fall out of your chair, rolling on the floor, belly laugh. And animals can help with that too. They're warm, they're fuzzy, they love us no matter what. And you want to have love. You want to have love of self. Most important, love yourself. Appreciate yourself, honor yourself, accept yourself. And find an emotional support system. Whether your aromatherapy becomes your friend, your flower essences, your massage therapist, cranial sacral, Reiki, support groups, find a community, find some camaraderie that matches where you are and who you want to be, and surround yourself by that. There's a power. You are what you are surrounded by. If it's an unhealthy environment, don't do that, especially when you're in a healing mode. So I encourage you to continue educating yourself, stay on top of the latest research and remedies. You want to try to be more in a preventative mode rather than a reactive mode, although we are going to be reactive sometimes. Learn about yourself, connect with yourself. What are the patterns? Do you get sick at the same time every year? Do the same things happen all the time? What are the triggers? But also note not only your challenges but your successes. People forget we always focus on the negative. We forget to focus on the positive. You've got to stay focused on the positive. And you have a lot of support in the NAHA bookstore. We have a lot of webinars, a lot of books that can help you on your journey. We have the World of Aromatherapy Conference that's coming up in October, October 20th through the 23rd. This is going to be at the University of Utah. Beautiful place, but if you look at the topics that are being offered and the presenters that are being that are coming to share their knowledge with you, we have some of the top aromatherapists from around the world that are going to be here. Kelly is going to be there. Annette is going to be there. We have Robert Tisserin, Jade. We have Andrea Bucce, Valerie Cooksley. And we have more. There's a lot of people that are going to be there. So if you want to learn more, you want to be surrounded by people, you want to be surrounded by a community that is going to help you on your journey, not only to learn more, but to feel better. Every time I go to these conferences, not only do I come out stronger professionally, but I come out stronger personally. I feel like I've connected more with myself. I've connected with like-minded people. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. I'm encouraged. So I encourage you to really come to this beautiful conference that we've worked so hard to put together for you. So I want to leave you with an offer that is just for you guys. So my website is jensense.com. I wrote a comprehensive aromatherapy guide that I launched in December. I'm so proud of this book. It talks about the circadian rhythm. I break everything down by body system. There's history, there's safety. I really get into things that I've learned for the mind, heart, and gut. I'm really big on the mind-body connection because that's been my journey. These are things that I've learned. And then I also do personal and professional consultations. So these I want to offer to you. And then you have your code that's on here, and these are good until July 31st. And then you have some additional references that I've included in your notes as well. So I want to thank you all. I want to commend you for being committed to learning more about yourself and about intestinal health. And Kelly, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. We really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.